Hello, kindergartners. I hope you are ready. We are going to take a field trip today. We're going to go to the Symphony. Welcome to the Symphony by Carolyn Sloan, illustrated by James Williamson. Hello and welcome to the Symphony. Please take your seats. Oh, this is so exciting. I've never been to the Symphony before. I don't even know what the Symphony is. Trust me, you'll love it. It's some of the greatest music you'll ever hear. The concert is about to begin. You ready? The orchestra will be performing Symphony Number 5 in C minor by Ludwig van Beethoven. Oh, yay! Beethoven's Fifth Symphony is one of my favorites. What's a Beethoven? Beethoven is one of the world's most famous composers. And kindergartners, do you remember what a composer is? A composer is a person who writes music. So Beethoven was born in Bonn, Germany, more than 200 years ago. A symphony is a long piece of music. It's usually divided into smaller sections called movements. And by the way, the movements are often different tempos. Do you remember what tempo is? How fast or slow you go. Tempo. The symphony is played by an orchestra. Ludwig van Beethoven wrote 9 symphonies. The concert master. That is the person who helps the musicians tune their instruments. He or she nods to the oboe, which is one of the instruments. The oboe plays the note A to the string section after the woodwinds have tuned. Look, the concertmaster's on stage. Listen to how the musicians are tuning their instruments. Let's listen. La 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 la. Am I in tune? Well, I wouldn't say you were in tune exactly, but keep trying. Pitch. Do you remember what pitch is? We say pitch is where does the note go? Where does the note go? Does it go high? Does it go high? Does it go low? Does it go low? Does it stay right in the middle? Does it stay right in the middle? Or it could be anywhere in between. Pitch is how high or how low the note sounds. A note is used to represent the pitch. There are 7 musical notes: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Sometimes they're referred to as do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The conductor. The conductor is the person who leads the orchestra. He or she lets the musicians know when to start playing and how fast or slow to play, the tempo, or how loud, forte, or how soft, piano or pianissimo. All right, here's the conductor walking out on stage. Who's that guy coming on the stage? Is he late? He's not late, he's the conductor. The conductor gets to tell everybody what to do. He or she is the director. The conductor is the person that stands at the front going like this, and they move their hands different ways. And if they want it louder and more forte, they might have big arms like that. And if they want it pianissimo, they might get little like this. So they help control the dynamics, which is how loud, forte, or soft, or pianissimo the music is played. Tempo, how fast or slow the music is played. All right, Symphony Number 5 in C minor was first performed in Vienna in the year 1808, and it is one of the most famous symphonies ever written. To hear the beginning, We're going to press number 2. Do you want to help me press it? Here we go. Number 2. Put your hands on your head if you've ever heard that before. Does that sound familiar? It's a very, very famous piece of music. I love the theme. It's so exciting and dramatic. Yeah, it sounds great. What's a theme? A theme is like the main idea of a story. It's the part of the piece that you hear the most. It often is repeated and played in lots of different ways. So this is the theme for Symphony number 5 in C minor by Beethoven. That's the theme that's played over and over by the different instruments. Dun, 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 dun. And they all take turns playing it. And sometimes they play it in sort of different ways, but you can still hear the theme throughout the symphony. I love the orchestra. Aren't they just magnificent? Wait, what's an orchestra? An orchestra is a large group of musicians who play different instruments together. It's divided into various sections: the strings, the woodwinds, the brass, and the percussion section. Oh, first graders, if you're watching this, we've talked about some of these different instruments, haven't we? Kindergartners might know too. Second graders, are you there? Hello? Yeah, you guys know this stuff for sure. All right, the strings. The strings are the violins, the violas, the cellos, and the double basses. They're called string instruments because each one has a set of 4 strings that you play with a bow or you pluck with your fingers. These instruments look alike, but they vary greatly in size and sound. The bigger the instrument, the lower the sound. Remember, we've talked about that in music class. The bigger the instrument, the lower the sound. The littler the instrument, the higher the sound. Yep. All right, so let's start with the smallest of the strings. This would be the violin. It has the highest sound. It often plays the melody because its tone is bright and clear. Here's the violin. That's a violin. Next, we have the viola. It looks like a violin, but it's a little bigger. It sounds more mellow and smooth, like a piece of velvet. Here's the velvety viola. Next, we have the cello. The cello sounds similar to a person's voice. It has a wide range of sounds from low to high, and it can express intense emotions. Oh, I love the cello. One more time. The cello is probably my favorite instrument. I don't play the cello, but if I could play any instrument in the whole wide world, just wake up one day and be able to play an instrument, it'd be the cello. The double bass stands very tall. Look, he has to stand to play it. It's the lowest pitched stringed instrument. It's deep, mysterious, and its mysterious sound supports the harmonies of the orchestra. Here is the double bass. Bo, 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 bo. Can you do that? It's really low. Bo, 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 bo. Makes me look really weird. Bo, 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 bo. All right, now the woodwinds. Excuse me. The woodwinds are made up of flutes. That's the one that I play. Flutes, oboes, clarinets, and bassoons. Most of these instruments have something called a reed, which is made of a type of wood similar to bamboo. When you blow air into a woodwind instrument, the reed vibrates to make a sound. All right, I'm going to ask you afterwards 2 questions. First question is, which instrument is my very, very favorite? The cello. And then my other question is, which instrument do I play? What instrument has Mrs. Martin played since she was 10 years old? The flute. The flute is the oldest of the woodwinds. In ancient times, flutes were made of wood or even bone. Nowadays, they're made of metal. It is the only woodwind that doesn't use a reed. Let's listen to the flute. Got pretty high pitch, doesn't it? It's higher tone. The oboe is a double reed instrument. It is made of African blackwood and has a clear, crisp sound. The oboe has a solo in Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. Let's hear the oboe. That's the oboe. It's so pretty. Now let's listen to the clarinet. The clarinet is a very old instrument that is based on an even older instrument called the chalumeau. Like the oboe, it is made of African blackwood. Unlike the oboe, it uses a single reed. So they only blow into one little thin piece of wood. The oboe blows into two. Let's listen to the clarinet. The bassoon is the largest of the woodwinds. It is made of maple wood. It's so long, it almost touches the floor when you play it. Here's the bassoon. All right, next we are visiting the brass section. The brass section is made up of a group of shiny metal instruments that you can play very loud. Forte. You have to buzz your lips like that. You have to buzz your lips into the mouthpiece of a brass instrument in order to make a sound. The valves on the instruments, when pressed, allow air to travel through different lengths of tubing to make different pitches. The first brass is my favorite of the brasses, and Mrs. Martin's son Matthew plays this one. This is the trumpet. The trumpet is the highest sounding of the brass instruments. Like the violin, it's often playing the melody because of its loud, strong sound. In the Middle Ages, early trumpets were used to announce the entrance of a king or a queen to court. It sounds very royal. Ba-ba-da. Let's hear the trumpet. Next, we have the French horn, developed from the hunting horn dating back to the 1600s, long time ago. It started out as a long, thin piece of tubing with a mouthpiece at one end and a flared bell at the other. This is the French horn. The trombone is the only instrument that has no valves or keys. It has a slide that moves up and down to change its pitch. In Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, the trombones don't get to play until the fourth movement. Let's hear the trombone. All right, now we go to the percussion instrument. These are the instruments that we play in music class together and that you can really easily make percussion instruments to play at home. Percussion instruments are the ones that you strike or hit to make a sound. How else can we play percussion? You can hit or tap, you can shake it, or you can scrape it. Drums, triangles, glockenspiel, xylophones, and timpani are all percussion instruments. Beethoven uses only the timpani, in Symphony number 5. Timpani. Timpanis are these huge kettle drums. They're large drums that you strike with a mallet. The drum is shaped like a bowl, usually made of copper, which is covered with plastic skin or calfskin. The skins are tightened and loosened with screws and foot pedals to change their pitch. Let's listen to the timpani. Ooh, I want to hear it again. It sounds like thunder. Sometimes modern orchestras include other instruments that don't have a part in Beethoven's Symphony Number 5. Some of these instruments, like the tuba, haven't been they weren't invented when Beethoven was alive. Isn't that cool? So there's a glockenspiel, there's a snare drum, a harp, a piano, there's the tuba. Tuba is a very, very, very low sounding brass instrument. So, what is music? Music is like a conversation. The instruments talk to one another. Sometimes the strings talk to the woodwinds. Sometimes the brass will have something to say. Each section takes turns speaking and listening, and then they play together. It's a conversation. So it's like the flutes might say and ask a question, and then the brass go boom, 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 and answer the question. All right, they talk to each other. Let's hear an example of the musical conversation. So in that conversation, the clarinet played first and then the flute answered. Let's listen one more time. Did you hear that? The instruments talk to each other. Yeah, just like you're talking to us now. Yeah, well, I'm trying to listen. Shh. Okay. A melody is a tune. It's the song that you can hear. It's a series of notes that make up a musical sentence. Let's listen to the melody. That's part of that conversation. It's the part that you can hum or sing after listening to a piece of music. Harmony. Oh, I love harmony. I like to call harmony hot cocoa for your ears. It's when music just sounds so good together. Harmony is the combination of two or more pitches sounding together. Beethoven is famous for his powerful harmonies. Let's hear some harmony. So there you have the brass section playing the same rhythm, but they're playing different notes. They're playing different pitches, but they sound good together. Let's listen to harmony one more time. Oh, I love some good harmony. So we are about to listen to the end of the first movement. Beethoven's Symphony Number 5, Fifth Symphony in C minor, has 4 movements in all. Each of these musical movements has a different feeling and a different tempo. Let's hear the end. Fantastic! Bravo! Quiet. It's only the end of the first movement. We don't clap yet. You mean there's more Beethoven to come? Yay! Thank you for joining me on our field trip. Now, I know at the beginning I said kindergartners, but you know what? If you're not in kindergarten, I hope you enjoyed our field trip too. And remember, I wonder if you can answer my questions. What is my very favorite instrument? And then what is the instrument that I have played since I was 10 years old? So it's obviously one of my favorite instruments too, but what's the instrument that if I could wake up in the morning and know how to play, I would play? And then what is the instrument that I have played since I was 10? I hope you get it right. Thanks for coming on our field trip.